www.fryfry.live. Experience and enjoy authentic, thought-provoking conversations on every reality. Share your stories and let's debate over great music and so much more wherever you are. On The Brunch, we talk about everything, and I mean everything.
Hello, Famboleona. Welcome once again to Radio Fry 97.1. This is now my favorite show, The Brunch, brought to you by us. Of course, you know by now, say me your name, Nadestin Lawrence Chuku, Mecca Head II, aka MOG Lawrence, and I'll be the host for today. I'm not just here alone, by the way. I'm here with somebody that shocked my life in a way I couldn't understand. Can you imagine meeting somebody that has your name for the first time? Can you imagine? So I'm Lawrence. I'm Lawrence, and the person is here, and her name is
Laura Boothby. I'm the female version of Lawrence.
I'm telling you, Laura Boothby. She's so beautiful, by the way. Anyway, so can you please tell us a little bit about yourself? And no, before we get to that, let's just have the verse of the day and the quote of the week. Then we'll get to that. Yeah, can you please just have the verse of the day? Till that is coming up, you can be telling us about yourself so we'll know exactly who Laura Boothby is.
Yeah, so my name's Laura, and I'm originally from the UK, so I'm British, but I've been living in Sierra Leone for almost 2 years now.
Okay.
So I'd try to talk Creole small during the show, but yes. So with a mix up.
The mix and small.
Yes.
So family, you me said they talk English, not Pambado. We try for like mix and small. Anyway, so of course we know that this is February. February is literally the month of love. Everybody's looking forward to Valentine's Day. It's coming up. You will not get Valentine. It's well go fan. If you're not for fan, may Jesus be your Valentine. But anyway, we're all looking forward to having a lot of love in this month. And that's why today our topic is going to be, can you imagine? Our topic today is going to be something that a lot of people have been going through or have gone through, or if you know and they go through it, you might go through it. And it is how to cope with loss, how to cope with a heartbreak. Especially you will go into one wonderful relationship and then you and the person scatter. How for handle that day? And also the difference between our manual time our own time. We catch up with all in things and it today. And that's why we have a beautiful lady in the studio and a handsome young man like me. So let's go straight into the topic. So let's think about it from this aspect, because I know definitely if you're thinking about a heartbreak, then you're thinking about a relationship in the first place, which means you must have had something going. So what brings a relationship together? Then we can now talk about what a heartbreak is. So what do you think brings a relationship together?
So relationship is about people.
Okay.
Isn't it? And so you normally have to have things in common.
Yeah.
I think that's probably one of the key things.
Yeah.
So common like interests, or if it's not maybe like interests and hobbies, you have to have common values.
Yeah.
And belief systems. I think are probably two really
Very
key
important.
things that
Yeah.
bring people together and that attract.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, I don't know about for you, but I think we often think that looks,
Matter.
yeah, and they do matter,
To a certain extent.
but sometimes that's the first thing that we look at, and that maybe determines maybe if we want to pursue something, maybe with a more like a stranger. But looks can fade. Anything can happen in life. We get old, we get gray hair, we get wrinkles. Maybe we put on weight, maybe we lose weight. So if that's the only thing that has brought you together, then it won't last.
It won't work.
From my perspective.
From my perspective, I would have to agree with you enormously, because like a lot of people just think about what they see before them, but there's a lot that goes into a relationship. that has to deal with the person's character, the person's personality, the person's belief systems, the person's passion, and their drive and vision of where they're going to in life that a lot of people don't pay attention to. And mostly a relationship comes together when all of those things have already been aired out and a mutual agreement has come in, where the one person has seen how whatever they want to do with their life works with whatever you are doing with your life, and your cuteness now can be added to the whole
just
thing.
A bonus.
Yeah, it can be added to the whole thing. And then from there now, we can begin get now the fact that we don't get a relationship. But unfortunately, a lot of things lead to a breakup. Sometimes, well, most of the time, it is when that agreement is breached, some way, somehow, or somebody feels like they are not getting the better end of the agreement.
Yes.
And I don't know, what would you say would be contributing factors for you for somebody to break up with another? Because we already know that mutual interest is already there. You guys have already seen how your passions align. Their belief systems have already been established. You know what is going on. Well, what would cause that to like break off?
Breakdown. That is a really good question, and I think it's something that when we're children, sometimes we don't get taught these things. I think relationships are often, how to navigate a relationship is often not talked about. As we're growing up, as we're teenagers. So it is one of those things in life that you almost have to live through it.
To learn it.
Which can sometimes be really hard. And often it's one of those things that people don't take advice on. Because matters of the heart, are sometimes hard to rationalize or think through, in a rational way. So I think from my own experience and what I've seen in other relationships is, so maybe you have all those interests, you have the common things, but ultimately we all have like basic needs, right? And sometimes if we're not willing to listen to the other person's needs, or sometimes even love the person the way that they feel love. So for instance, I don't know if anybody's ever heard of the love languages. So love languages are not only how you give your love to people, but how you also like to receive it. Yeah. And so one is like spending quality time with somebody. Another one is like gifts. You like to receive or give gifts. Another one is acts of service. So you like to do things for the person. So there's a few of them. And so sometimes in relationships, what can happen is you do your love language to that person. So say I like to give gifts because it makes me feel good, but that doesn't actually make you feel
good.
And so that's how sometimes resentment can start coming in, because we think we're loving because it makes us feel good how we're showing the love. But actually, that's not what fulfills
the other person.
And so, and I believe that is often how things start to break down, as well as like, mistrust. So if trust has been broken, that's an absolute foundation for maintaining a long-term relationship.
So, family, and just in case you only did tune in now, this now at the brunch brought to you by Radio 5 on 97.1 FM. We get a wonderful guest now. So today we're now Miss Laura Boothby.
Emphasis on the miss.
Emphasis on the miss, which means she is single. Hello, just in case you are out there and you're looking for somebody very yumptious for this February 14 dates. It is wonderful. You can call on the number I will not tell you. Anyway, so we have her as our guest today, and we're talking about how to handle breakups. And you don't they talk about something very important today. Say one of the reasons that will make relationship then go scatter. One of the reasons that will be people then go broke up, because that's what they call love language. When like how other person wants for receive love. Because most of the time we sabi how forgive the love we want from a person give. if me now, for example, the kind of love I like now that way, if I love person, I dey work for am boku, I want help her, I want do this, I want do that. And that same kind of love day I go give to my partner. But unfortunately, that is not supposed to be the case. Because you for understand your partner enough for no say your own love language might be different from you. Maybe your own partner are like you work for and say the only thing we really want from you is a gift. Just they buy gifts they can forget about that work. If you not come to that place where you able for know what your partner want, you just they do no more, you just they do. At the end of the day, the person still not go feel appreciated. The person still not go able for feel like I say he loved. The person not go feel like I say you don't do am for him like how you want him. Which means, and one of the most important thing about a relationship now, knowing your partner. It's not about just loving them. In fact, loving them is impossible without knowing them. Which means if now make in every relationship you will always find out we get that dating stage where we go out, we just talk to each other, we get to know what each other likes, what we believe in, what our mutual interests are, and all of that. You get to know all of this information before you get into the relationship, because when you go inside there, you know I mess up and unfortunately disappoint the person in expectations then. So you see, then I want to we need for understanding can lead to a breakup. Then of course the most obvious one, where you broke the person in trust. Like it very difficult for build trust. Well, we don't broke and done because I feel like trust is one of the most easiest things to give to people that you don't know. It's easy for me to like meet you today. We're talking and we feel like this thing is working, and I can see even say, oh, you can come to my place, you can this, you can that, and all of that. But then when that person they broken, for me you give them back. For you to be able to like give back to that trust to the person is almost impossible. I remember a time me personally being broke the trust of one of my partners. Them the relationship never survived after because no matter what I say, she kept reliving the experience in her mind over and over and over again. Where now one of the most difficult things there for a person for go through, especially if he love you, he love himself back. You know, it's not like they don't want for trust you back, but you've placed them through hell, literally. But what do you think?
Well, I think when you're in a relationship, you know, when you meet a stranger, they see the kind of the public you.
Okay,
right? So,
yeah.
So when you first meet people, there's kind of everybody has a public
outlook.
Yeah, that everybody will kind of see. But there's like different stages of how you show yourself to different people in your life. And so in relationships, in order for it to work, when we're talking about, I guess, kind of more intimate and kind of those kind of relationships, you start to make yourself very vulnerable. You show a different side of yourself to somebody. You tell them things that maybe you wouldn't tell strangers or other people. So you really let them into your inner circle. So I think that's why, in one sense, if you did something and you broke me trust now, like I'd be able to maybe shake it off, because we don't
know each other that much.
know each other that close. But once you really let somebody into that space, your life, and you feel very vulnerable, that's what I think why heartbreak can be so hard and people get so scared during those moments, because suddenly you're like, how could this person use everything they know about me against me?
Wow.
And some people are wicked. I would hope most people don't do that, but we know that there are wicked people in this world, and sometimes people do use things against each other. But I think going back to something else a little bit earlier that you said, when we're not secure in ourselves, and we don't love ourselves, and we're not okay with ourselves, I do believe, when I'm looking back in my own life, in my earlier years when I was very insecure and I needed a lot of like what I would call like acceptance and validation, say from people, boyfriends or friends, that's when the heartache hurt the most, because I was trying to get my self-worth
Out
through
of them.
other people. And so I think just naturally, as you get older, typically, and some younger people are very, I guess, lucky that maybe they found that self-worth
Very early.
earlier, whether it be because of how their parents brought them up, or
The
just
people
the
they
people
had
they had in
around
their
them.
life. And so the older you get, I think often the more secure you become in yourself. And so instead of it being like, I need you, it becomes a partnership, of just two people who are living their lives, but enjoy spending time with each other. And I think that's when relationships can become so much more enjoyable when you don't have that, like, when a relationship's not driven by fear of being alone. Because when you're trying to really fill yourself with other people to make you feel good, that's when problems start coming in, because nobody, like, that's a lot of expectation to put on somebody else to make you feel good. And so to me, and when I look back in my younger life, that's absolutely why most of my kind of relationships broke down, because I wasn't secure and happy in myself, and I was trying to get somebody else to constantly make me feel good and happy.
Wow. I believe that's literally an eye opener, because that indirectly means, say, anybody will not develop your own personal self worth yet, not see value inside self yet, without nobody in support, not go able for really properly love other person.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, you will try, but you'll be using them. You will not even know that you're using them, but you're using them. Which means a lot of people are not even in love, and they don't know it. They are just in need of support.
Yes.
They don't know the support they should come from them. Wow. This is wonderful.
Yeah. No, and I think it's like I said, it's just something that's not really talked about, as you're a teenager or even in your early 20s. It's something that you just kind of are expected to
be given to you.
Yeah, and to navigate how to deal with it. But I think it's something that as young people, it's really important to talk about. And of course, there's things, especially as at any stage of life, some relationships can also become abusive, like the power dynamics, and that's another really important thing to talk about in love and relationships, that some people take it too far, especially if they notice that somebody is a bit more vulnerable. And there are people who really like power and, can sometimes start controlling you, so it's really important to know that that's not love, and that's not healthy. If you feel like you can't go out or you can't talk to your friends, somebody starts getting really jealous, try and get out, and there's somebody out there who will trust you, who will let you have your freedom and be you. Because again, when we have this like codependency, if you depend too much on somebody else, what happens if they, God forbid, but life happens. They might leave, they might pass away, something might happen to them, and then you're left alone, which is why I believe it's really important that you can self-sustain yourself, that you can have your own confidence. And I would also like to kind of bring into this discussion a little bit about actually the work that I do here as well.
Okay.
So the team that I work with, we work with picking them with disability.
Okay.
And, here in Sierra Leone, there's a lot of, different views and beliefs about people with disabilities, so whether they're devils, whether they're a curse, whether they are a snake, or, they're going to bring bad luck to the family. And so when we're thinking about heartbreak, oftentimes women are actually blamed for giving birth to a child that might have a disability. And so just imagine that you are in a very happy relationship, or you think you're in a happy relationship, and you love somebody very much, and then you give birth to a child who has a disability. And suddenly, your husband won't talk to you, he leaves you, he blames you, he says, we don't get picking like this inside my family. You know, and just, you know, I've never experienced that, but just to, you know, imagine that the heartbreak in somebody also leaving you for something that's actually not your fault. You know, because there are so many reasons why children are born with a disability. You know, sometimes things just go wrong in the forming of the baby in the belly, sometimes long labor, sometimes having a cord wrapped around the neck can cause brain damage, and it can cause different disabilities as they grow up. So there's so many reasons, and I think that's something, again, that we need to look at and address. As you know, I think men have a big responsibility in understanding that as well, and that might lead us nicely onto some of the differences that you know, how maybe the two sexes do deal with
the breakup.
Yeah.
You know, while you were talking about it, you just helped me to understand. In fact, I actually wanted to talk about it as well. It's a part of what I was planning on talking about. But you know, say break up not they only happen between spouses or I'll call them boyfriend and girlfriend. Like, it also happens in the family. Your heart breaks when maybe your father or your mother somehow breaks that trust that you had built over the years for them, whether they made a decision on your behalf that you are not okay with, or whether you feel like they abused your, what should I call it, your privacy by going through stuff that you really didn't want them to go through. Whether I be say, and then go and scatter you talk about something where you don't want to make anybody know, but like a lot of things happen that would will cause you to like feel like you have been heartbroken by this kind of people, even your sisters, maybe them leaving, because sometimes life will cause people to like have to leave. They will have to like travel, they will have to go do something else, and maybe that them leaving might affect you in a negative way, and you feel heartbroken about it. But what's able for make you feel heartbroken and without it being a boyfriend and a girlfriend situation, just like what you talk to about fathers, mothers, and children, especially in a situation in which the man not at the place where you're able to sit down and understand certain things, and because unfortunately we get some, I will call and say, societal norms there, ways that we people don't choose for believe certain things because of course, you know, say we are not all in that place where we know much about the biology when it comes to how disabilities come about and all of that. But with traditional ways and the way we can see things, sometimes we might cause somebody for saying this is not the make and all of that. But we have to accept, say, love is not only given to spouses. Love is given to sons. Love is given to daughters. Love is given to friends. Love is given to fathers. Love is given to mothers. Any kind of person you can love. Which means if you're also talking about heartbreak, you have to think about your relationship with everybody. Which means you can your heart can be broken even by your co-worker. Because you've been working with the person for so long and you heard about what they said or what they did that makes you feel mistreated some way, somehow. Oh, wow. This is deep.
Yeah, very deep.
This is
really
deep.
Good.
Yeah. So to a certain extent, what we're looking at is things that people do that will cause you to feel insecure. That these are the things that lead to heartbreak. I trust you with so much information and you use it against me, or you know me so well that you should know that you should not do certain things.
Yeah.
And then you go to these are the things that cause heartbreaks. Oh, wow. This is deep. Anyway, as we go into the conversation, Famble, we'll get for open the phone lines very soon. I'll make you say no, so you give for more span this conversation. You give for talk you want to give, because this is very important. We want to learn a lot, especially in this month of love. We want to ensure say all we relationship them really able to thrive throughout this year, starting from the month of love. So, like how we don't talk about Dandy. You were talking about us thinking about how people them go able for watch certain things them from a very, I would say, from a knowledgeable point of view instead of just a traditional point of view, seeing the fact that picking them, it's not the children's fault, it's not the mother's fault and all of that. Which means certain relationship then they with people then they break up self. It's not even the partner's fault. It's just the fact that you with the vex and say they break up, not get enough information for make the right decisions.
Yes.
Which means knowing more about the situation is far more important than making the decision.
Yeah. And I think, and that is often like miscommunication or lack of communication and understanding is often one of the, again, biggest causes
Reasons,
of a breakup, whether it be a friendship, whether it be within families, or a kind of a relationship.
Yeah.
And so in the case of picking them with disability, definitely, you only know what you know.
Yeah.
And so if for generations you've been told, this is a curse or a devil, then, it's really understandable that you would react in that way. And I think that's a beautiful thing about the work that we do at World Hope, that actually we engage fathers and we explain to them, and help them understand the child's condition. And we've seen some really beautiful stories of fathers then taking back their responsibility as a father, engaging with the mothers again. But I think that can be translated into almost every kind of relationship. That example that sometimes maybe we do need to bring, especially if you've been in a long-term relationship or you've been married a long time and it starts to break down, that there's no shame in asking for help from other people.
Yes.
So if you've got somebody who's wise, if you've got a wise friend or, to actually seek like marriage counseling, sometimes to have a third party help to just like calm things down,
see things clear,
help both sides see each other's perspectives, can be really, really beneficial. But I also know there's a lot of people in the whole world that are very ashamed and think they don't need somebody else's help. And so that can be another, and that's when it's really difficult. I once had a friend who, she really wanted to go and see like a marriage counselor, but her partner didn't want to. And he says, no, we can work through this. We can.
It was a guy, right?
Yeah.
We don't do that.
But even that in itself, really, it caused more hurt, like to my female friend, because she really was trying. She really wanted that relationship to work because they had been together for a long time, but then was really hurt by her partner's actions. That it was him saying no was like communicating to her that he didn't actually care about the relationship. So again, communication is just huge, and I think how you start any relationship, friendship. I think, again, we're ashamed of expressing our likes and our dislikes. Sometimes we assume somebody should just know, and so, again, as I've, I'm not old, but in fact, my birthday is this month.
Oh.
The day before Valentine's.
Oh, okay.
33.
Wow.
And so I don't like Valentine's Day because it always takes away from my birthday.
Don't worry. Don't worry, it's not going to do that this year.
But, as I have gone through life, I've gotten much more confident. And, even in friendships, like actually verbally voicing, look, like, I don't like that. When you do that, that really hurts me, or that I actually find offensive, or I really love it, so to just like have the confidence to like say, yeah, like that makes me feel really good when you do that,
which means you're not scared of being vulnerable.
Yeah, and actually you feel less vulnerable in the long run.
Yeah.
Because when things are just out in the open, everybody actually feels more confident.
Yeah, we can address it and all.
Yeah, or you feel like because really what I've always found as well is everybody wants to say things, and sometimes it just takes one person to say it, to be like, wow, I think that as well, or I feel that way as well. So I think communicating and being like open about what you like, don't like, you know, to actually just sit down and say, Lawrence, tell me what you don't like.
Yeah.
You know, or we've spent some time together. And I think feedback, you know, we can, I think just I've lived in a lot of different places, you know, so humans in general can find it really hard to take feedback.
Yeah.
And I think there's something really beautiful about actually...
Especially men.
Yeah. There can be a lot of pride involved sometimes. But, you know, like you will be so surprised if you just sit down with somebody and say, look, what can I improve on? Or what am I doing good? And, like, you'll normally... Like, people will be shocked, you know, whoever's asking the question. Yeah. But it then opens up
the room for...
Yeah, like, and it can really build trust and respect for each other. So whether that be your colleagues, you know, in your own family, friends, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, like you'll be surprised how that can really, build trust. Because if you've done something that hurts me, and I don't want to tell you, and you don't know about it, but then I start like backing off from you, like it can cause so much unnecessary drama. But if you just like be upfront and say, you know, but it takes both parties to have to be willing to do that, because if one is resistant to it, but I encourage anybody, try it and start with yourself and just say, look, tell me, Lawrence, what am I not doing so good, or is there anything I do that bothers you that I can improve on? Or what do I do that you really like that I can keep doing more? You know, so start with yourself instead of going and saying, look, Lawrence, I want to tell you that you need to improve on it. You know, so put it back to yourself first. And then the other person will be like, wow, okay, let me tell you what makes me feel good and not good.
Wow. You're really good at this. I'm sure your relationship is doing well if you have one. Boy, you're single. Hey, boy. Well, if you're a brother out there and you know you're serious, contact me. Anyway, so I want to hear from your perspective, yeah? How do you breakups? Because like I know how a guy, from my own perspective, I think I know how guys will view breakups. But how do women view breakups? How do you think?
I guess we're all different. I think that's a really important thing, that we all have different personalities. We've all been, you know, we forget sometimes as adults how much our childhood can impact, you know, our adult, like who we are as adults and how we interact with people as adults. Because you know, even just how your parents responded to you as a child, as well as how you observed maybe your parents or your grandparents or your aunties and uncles around you interacting. So I think sometimes if you do feel very insecure in a relationship, and I do think this is for men and women, like have a think about like the dynamics of your own relationship with your parents when you were a kid. Because again, if you got beaten all the time for speaking, right? As an adult woman, you might then not have the confidence to speak up in a relationship, you know, because of that you might subconsciously be thinking, I'm going to get in trouble or I'm going to get beaten. And so we don't always think about it, but sometimes it just happens naturally. And I think, again, in different cultures, there's, I think, different ways that women can also view breakup. But I think you'll probably have the spectrum of different type of women in every culture and every country. So you will have a group of women who are still feeling really insecure in their own identity. You know, maybe they've been bullied for the way that they look. They're too, you know, they don't bump too much. They're too dry. Their skin doesn't shine enough. They're too dark. They're too light. yeah, so all kind, or your teeth aren't fine, or you smell too much, so all these things, maybe they've been, like, people have said lots of nasty comments throughout life, which is really hard to overcome, and it takes a very special man, if you're going to be dating a man, that to give you that confidence, to approach that relationship and to start feeling, so I do believe from both sides we have a responsibility to make people feel safe, because you just never know what they've experienced like previously, and I think possibly more in, like, say, Sierra Leone than like my experience in England, whereas so here, like, there's a very big cultural push to get married, have a baby, and that is almost like your identity as a woman. Would you agree?
To a certain extent.
Yeah. So, well, my experience is, if you don't have a baby, like, people will look down on you small. They
in England.
No, here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like, to have a baby is like a life
goal.
It's a goal.
It's a goal.
But also, jobs, education, jobs are harder to get here. So to be self-sufficient can be really challenging. And so the goal and aim of getting into a relationship can suddenly shift, so it might not just be purely because you like somebody, but it's also how somebody can financially contribute and support you. So the dynamics do change slightly with that. Whereas, in England, it is, the education system really enables, people to progress, kind of no matter what part of society there are, even if you're in poverty, classed as poverty in England, like, there are government systems to get you through university, so there is support and ways to do that. And so I think as women in that culture, we feel a lot more self-reliant, like, we feel really confident that I can get a job, I can look after myself, and I don't need a partner or man to do that. So I think the dynamic, the social dynamics and the social economic dynamics can really change how relationships are viewed. And so again, I think it just depends on what experiences you've had, your own personality, of how you then deal with a breakup.
Wow.
So I think for the most part, it's often painful for everybody. Like, but often that's because there's a sense of, like, pride or maybe a vulnerability that now where you're going to get your finances from. If you were dependent on somebody to go pay for your nails, to go get your hair done.
Where you go finding? Yes. Where you will find money or...
Yes, and so I think that can, and, the money makes the world go around. Like, we need money to live, everybody. And so that can create a lot of, like, fear. And everybody then responds different. Some might cry. Some might start talking bad about you to make themselves feel better.
That's the funniest thing. It always happens.
Some might actually start, like, being wicked. Like, I hear stories of that all over the world. That some people really retaliate. In a bad way, whether it be breaking property or really, like, disgracing your name. So everybody is very, very...
Some people take it out on the next person.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, so, like, basically, I was doing a little bit of research and I asked a few people questions and all of that about how women take a breakup. Because I wanted to understand why, because I came to realize that the way men view breakups and the way women view breakups, the way men handle breakups and the way women handle breakups are so diverse. It's almost like it's not the same thing.
Yep.
But it is the same thing, but it causes the man to do totally different things, whilst the woman does also totally different things. But they're all trying to cope with whatever they're going through. And then I was able to realize that it's based on the fact that we are totally different kinds of beings. You know, women, you guys are so emotionally wired. Everything, unless you guys were not in a serious relationship, but if it was something serious and you were totally into it, you guys are so emotional. You take every little detail to consideration, and then we guys now, we're just like so logical, and everything for us is a project. Even the relationship, we go in at the relationship, we watch how the relationship for can look and how it add to we prestige and how we ego and all of those things. So the way we view it and the breakup at the end of the day and the way you guys view the breakup at the end of the day, even though it is loss on both parts, is a little bit different. Women mostly see it like loss as in losing somebody. Like it's almost like where you say your father died. You start crying because you know you're never gonna have that person in your life anymore, and all of that. You start thinking about all the good times, all the bad times, and all those crazy things that make you guys cry the more. Whilst with the guys now, we process it now for some reason. We process it like some kind of failed project. You know, like when guys, like, we do, the worst thing, just in case you don't know this, the worst thing for a guy is failure. We don't want to fail. We want to see ourselves as some kind of heroes all the time. And because of that, we want our relationships to prosper. That way, to us, it's like another star to our badge or something. And it's like, oh, an honor. My relationship is thriving and stuff like that. And then, poof, it fails, unfortunately. And the worst of it all, if you beating at the woman, I left the man. Like if the woman broke up with a guy, it takes a serious hit on his ego. Oh my God, she did it. She did this to me. Like it's so difficult for us to take things like that, and we see it like we have failed so hardly, and unfortunately, it causes totally different kinds of reactions from each other. Like, for example, like the woman, I don't know, but women have a way that you guys do it, and for some reason, it helps you guys. And we, for some reason, the way we seem to do ours doesn't work.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
I don't know, but like, please tell me how if I'm sure that you're too beautiful. You definitely have been in a relationship before this. So how did you handle the breakup?
Crying. I'm a big believer in what I call therapeutic crying.
Okay.
Because actually, I don't know. I think it is hard to generate. I do think those are pretty good stereotypical responses, but you know, there will be some very emotional men and there will be some very logical women out there. So we just need to clarify.
Yeah.
But yes, I do believe. So for me, if I cry, it's almost as if like the pain and the stress release out of my tears.
And then you cry tomorrow again.
And I cry tomorrow again, maybe in 1 month's time. But to me, that's a very therapeutic process. Okay. So if I try to keep battling those tears, it will continue for longer. But again, I believe it's in how secure you are in yourself, right? For how long the hurt or the loss is. Because yes, when I look at the different stages of my life, probably the crying has got less and less. You know, or what I'm crying about or feeling upset about is different. You know, so yes, before it was probably a lot more about my pride, about fear of, you know, I'm not good enough, I'm not. Okay. Whereas now it is maybe a bit more of the loss of, somebody that you companionship, and that you invested it. And I think again it depends why you've broken up, because if somebody wasn't treating you right, there can be a lot of regret afterwards. So if you finally acknowledge that somebody has actually been abusing you, maybe physically, emotionally, sometimes when that ends,
it's like a relief.
Yeah, there's almost a sense of relief, but also shame that, like, why did you let somebody treat you like that for so long? But then also, again, fear, because even people who cause abuse, they make you think that you
You are
need
the
them
reason.
and that you are the reason. Yeah, so there can be so many like complicated
Toxic
emotions.
people.
Yeah, that go, that go along with that. But yeah, I think, it's also exciting. I think so, and I always just view like, the things that were good, like celebrate those, and then maybe, if it's ended, it's clearly not right for you or them, and do you really want to be with somebody who doesn't want to be with you? So if you are the one to say we're together and you broke up, like the way that I think about it now is, okay, if that person doesn't want to be with me, okay, yeah, it's a bit sad, but why would I want to be with somebody who doesn't want to be with me?
Please ask people.
Yes. Why do we want to be with people who don't want to be with us?
I'm telling you, like, it's crazy. I remember a time I was going through a breakup myself, and the person I was with, she ended up dating somebody else because it was a long distance thing. We were in Sierra Leone and everything, and she traveled and all of that. And she ended up having to be with somebody else because the distance thing was not working, and I'm very bad with my phone.
Yes.
So the communication wasn't where we needed it to be.
And you need that for a long distance.
I know, right? and then we broke up and all, and for some reason she came back to Sierra Leone, and I was trying my best to like get her to change her mind because, be honest, I was still into her. I didn't like, even though I wasn't communicating well. It's just that was something I wasn't good at from the initial stages of my life. I'm not so good with my phone.
Yeah.
I can like leave my phone here and go out and even forget that. So you see, so when she came, I was trying so hard to change her mind. Like I used like 7 months doing good things, trying to change. And it didn't work out.
You get time
I tell you, it was idleness on my part.
Yeah.
I didn't understand. And then eventually all my efforts failed, and I had to accept that, okay, she's gone.
Yeah.
And it was later after that I started thinking about certain things like, okay, she's gone. You're still here. You still have a lot to do. You have a lot inside of you. You will meet other people. Waiting at the point. You've been fussing for 7 months. And life goes on.
Yes.
You might even meet somebody far better than that person. You have not given anybody else a chance. You're just pushing like that is the only person in the world and all of that. But if, to the glory of God, eventually I met somebody else, and she made me feel like I had never been loved in my life.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so what was I fighting about? So like at the end of the day, it became a relief. Though before it was seriously terrifying.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't good at being alone. I wasn't good at that.
That's a very good point. There's a lot of people that are afraid of being alone. Yeah. In fact, that's why I think drives people to get into relationships that actually aren't worth it or good for them, because people are scared of being alone. And I do believe we've been created to be together. We are relationship beings. Like to be alone is actually very unhealthy. But you don't have to get all your care and love. Yes, absolutely. A close relationship like boyfriend, girlfriend, and marriage. It's a different kind of thing. But you can also get so much satisfaction from other kinds of relationships, and friendships, and to find a lot of joy in them. So I think sometimes it's just changing our mindset small, that life isn't all about finding a partner and maybe having a baby. That there are a lot of other joys in life, and sometimes when we stop searching, that's when suddenly you meet somebody, because you're putting too much pressure. And sometimes people, we have, if you've been like, I've been searching for you my whole life, imagine like what kind of expectations, the pressure that will put on you, and then it in the end backfires. But I think that will resonate with a lot of people, your story about fighting for somebody for 7 months, so anybody that's doing that right now,
A big
really, yes. Yeah, Lawrence is begging you. I'm begging you to really
repent.
really think, why do you want somebody who doesn't want you?
Yeah.
Like, you are worth so much more than to beg
To be loved.
to be
Can you
loved by
imagine?
somebody. And trust me, there are so many other people out there, and I think, yeah, pursue friendship first.
Yeah.
And from friendship, many beautiful things can, you know, and some friendships progress quicker, some take a bit longer. You know, I know people who have been friends for years, and then suddenly they realize, wow, we're actually really good.
Compatible, yeah.
But yeah, please don't chase people. You will lose. Just
You-
imagine
you'll
how
fail.
much time you
I
lost
know, right?
in living in
But
those
I
settings.
learned a very, very significant lesson, though. That was a season in my life in which I learned that no matter how much I didn't want to be alone. I also wanted to be in love with somebody that would chase me as much as I was chasing them.
Yeah.
So it helped me to like properly make the right decision the next time I had another relationship, because I was able to like see people that just liked me around
Yeah.
rather than wanted me. And I was able to like put them in the right category and say, okay, that's what you want. It's nice. We can be friends. Nothing more. I need somebody that needs me and all of that. It helped me to have some kind of, I would say, a standard to know who to be with, who to give more energy, who to give more time, and who to just give more space.
Yeah.
Because some people are toxic and they don't know it. And you eventually just fall into being the victim because you care about them.
Yeah. Or
And-
you're desperate.
Yes.
Desperation makes many people fall into being a victim. And again, do you think you would have, if somebody had said, look, stop chasing that person,
I wouldn't have listened.
you wouldn't have listened?
I wouldn't have
And so we
listened.
do come back to the fact that I think the only way to learn is to experience, and you know, because now from that situation, you say, look, I'm not going to do that again. But no matter how many people probably advised you for months, look, she's not worth it. She
I
doesn't
wouldn't
love
have listened.
you.
I couldn't have because we were like together for like 8 years.
Yeah, and that's a long time.
I know, right? So like I was just looking at the years. I was like,
Yeah.
all of these years for nothing. Nah, I'm gonna have to do something. And I kept on pushing myself. And then I came to realize that it's not the years, it's the person. If you choose somebody and the person doesn't choose you, that is not a marriage, that is not a wedding. Eventually, everybody is trying to be in a relationship to be permanently united with somebody else. So if the permanent union is not, if agreement is not there, how can there be a permanent union?
Yes.
So if you can't see none of those things happening in the near future, then just cut your losses and
Yeah.
no matter how many years, because that's what kept, I believe it keeps a lot of people into very toxic relationships and toxic situations, because they keep thinking about their investments instead of thinking about their own lives and their personal value.
Yeah.
But I thank God.
Absolutely. No, you've learned a really great lesson. And I, probably same for myself. It's only through those experiences that I think, do I really want to waste my time anymore chasing people? And I think another key sign, and maybe more for women, and I don't know if Sierra Leone women do this as much, but like there's a few relationships that I spent a lot of time crying.
Oh, okay.
Feeling just really hurt, upset, they wouldn't give me time, or just the way they spoke to me. And so now that's like one of my key things. Like, if I start crying too much in a relationship,
I'm out.
I'm out. That is now, but it took years
To learn that.
that if somebody brings you to that level on a weekly, daily basis, then you're just not right for each other.
Cut your losses.
And so that is now like one of my signs of how I'm like, okay, time to go.
Anyway, fumble them. We're almost coming to the close of the first segment of the program. We can go for a very short commercial break Just in case you only they tune in now, this na BBN FM, this na Radio 5 FM 97.1 on the Brunch show. Just in case you want to see this fine Uma with near me, she's single by the way. And for just car or the YouTube, just look for Radio 5. You need for Sam, and we will come back just now after the break. Thank you.
Yes, he's round the last defender, under his right foot. Oh, it's a goal!
Tasty football knowledge, play the Africell Predict and Win game, and send chance for win or fully paid tip for go watch the grand final at Ivory Coast.
You can also win daily prizes like a cash, data, talk time, and free start time subscription.
Just dial *777#, predict the outcome of the game for just £1 per prediction and get 50 megabytes for free.
Send the prediction before 60 minutes of every game. The more correct prediction where you get, now the more chances you go get to win. Africell Predict and Win. Let's play.
Winner RC Bank, which will sim couple you dey work out with money na your phone all time.
We na RC Bank. Of course, now we get the most efficient and convenient internet banking platform na Salon.
Of course, we na the bank of choice. Now we get the best prepaid card na Salon. Come bank with we.
We na Rokel Bank. With a Visa debit card, you can do your transaction any side of the world outside you take.
We na Master Sabipa digital banking business na Salon.
Na RC Bank. Now we get the best low interest rates na Salon.
We na Rokel Bank. We ATM they support careless transaction.
We na Rokel Bank. We dey send and receive money through Western Union, MoneyGram, and Rare.
We na Rokel Bank. With we e-couple, you can send money to anybody when you get bank accounts with we. Just ask for your telephone number. That's it.
Fambulem, on a doye we na Rokel Bank. We na Agba Pan banking business na Mama Salon.
Michelle Group of Companies is reliable, competent, and trustworthy in providing quality service to its wide range of clientele. Through Michcom, we provide premium internet service, secured data connectivity, VLAN and VOI over stats and fiber to mining industries, enterprises, hospitality industries, banks. We also provide fiber to homes, point-to-point, and satellite backup for Freetown and provincial regions. Through our Michelle Security Agency, called MSA for short, we provide a wide range of services that brings safety, security to our clients. Our services include Staff Guard, which also includes access and control room, customer service security, roving, mobile control, and many more. For more information, visit our head office at number 10I Sasame Lewis Road, Freetown, or call +232 73 554 616 or 232 32 554 616. Michelle Group of Companies. We are the leaders.
Now the pound no more no. Yeah. No food on the table, but man still stable. No money in the pocket, but man still the bounce. Even though things hard, I keep my smile on. The enemy waiting for things to go wrong. No good shoes, but a rub and kerosene. Now so are the bounce when I walk down the street. I keep my head up high because I know who I believe in. Who I believe in, oh, and I ain't no more no, and I ain't no more no, not even no more no, waiting there on the end, oh, not even no more no, waiting you know feet no, hey, not even no more no, waiting there on the end, oh, not even no more no, waiting you know feet no, hey, not even no more no, not even. Not no show. I just want bring small light now this dark though, because the waiting they go now no be blunt show. Some man that gets fine Sunday morning go to church. All Bible lifting hands, big it feel. What a baptized, fire sanctified. But as Monday comes so, now other team got, now them buy and then club. They do it in a please God. Some man don't can like say nah in a God. Go tell you say I go fire you, you not go see tomorrow. If you have a better, but you can't screw me. But Papa God now you know mommy no say na the brasa. Now you sabi with them cool. Now you did get fly for them car away nugget tail. Some man they cock chest with bad hearts for shame. Look you ping, hate you for nothing no more bra. But bra all thing left to you sir. Now you the command sun, moon and the tide. So now you know mommy go look up to. Cause now you want to know waiting they happen, bend them back.
Now the pan no more no. Waiting they happen be end no. Now the pan no more no. Waiting you know feet no. Hey, now the pan no more no. Waiting they happen be end no. Now the pan no more no. Waiting you know feet no. Hey, now the pan no more no. 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 Now the pan no more no.
That was a J on the beat.
Osamotuka, I go bye bye. That way the ring, I go bye bye. Osamotuka, I go bye bye. That way the ring, girl, I go bye bye. Everything for you, for you. I swear I go do anything for you, yeah. Girl, I no go hurt you, I no go hurt you. I go hold you like egg, I go dey cajole you, because come in Gemma. Even if I lose it all, come in Gemma. Everything I have, girl, come in Gemma. Everything I do, girl, come in Gemma. Gemma. Even if I lose it all, come in Gemma. Everything I have, girl, come in Gemma. Everything I do, girl, come in Gemma. Yeah. Battle and shady. Bandumano really. Go far and I hold me down. Just call me on the daily. Internationally, kill it. You raised from my heart, are you feeling it? Baby girl, you got me feeling it. Everything for you. I swear I go do anything for you, yeah. Girl, I no go hurt you, I no go hurt you. I go hold you like egg, I go dey cajole you, because come in Gemma. Even if I lose it all, come in Gemma. Everything I have, girl, come in Gemma. Everything I do, girl, come in Gemma. Even if I lose it all, come in Gemma. Everything I have, girl, come in Gemma. Everything I do, girl, come in Gemma. Even if I lose it all, come in Gemma. Everything I have, girl, come in Gemma. Everything I do, girl, come in Gemma. Even if I lose it all, come in Gemma. Everything I have, girl, come in Gemma. Everything I do, girl, come in Gemma.
It's a new year, and your favorite show is back again with a bang. Say hello to Radio Fry's mid-morning show, The Brunch, from Mondays to Fridays, 10 a.m. till 12 midday on 97.1 FM, live on our Facebook page, Radio Fry, and on our website, www.fryfry.live. Experience and enjoy authentic, thought-provoking conversations on every reality. Share your stories and let's debate over great music and so much more wherever you are. On The Brunch, we talk about everything, and I mean everything.
Pamela, good morning and welcome again to the brunch brought to you courtesy of Radio Fry 97.1 FM, the voice radio. Right now, not Destiny Lawrence Chukwu Emeka Head the second, aka MOG Lawrence, and Adenaya. So, with me female counterpart, not less a person, but Miss Laura Boothby. I guess I'm correct.
Yeah, very well.
I'm telling you, she's so beautiful. I not even understand how I not ever say it's me and they work in the same office. Can you imagine? But God is good. You know, God is good. God is about to give me what should I call this? A Valentine. Anyway, so we're talking today about how to cope with a breakup, both for a man and both for and a woman as well. And we've been talking about what leads to a breakup, what causes a breakup, how a relationship should be formed. And we started talking about the different ways that it affects, the breakup affects a man and a woman. Now, before we can go into the second segment of the whole conversation, we just want to forget the verse of the day and the quote of the week. And as we go, the glory of God, I want you for also no say now we don't open the phone lines them and Yusuf key able for calling Yusuf your own contribution. You can call on the number 088 971 971. I can call them back 088 971 971 and you can make your contribution. You can call both direct call or you can call on WhatsApp. We're gonna make you at least get the opportunity for talk as much as you want for talk because we really want you for able for communicate anything where you get in your mind. This is the listening radio. Now you know they talk, now we they listen. So you can call in and say what you have to say. We want to learn from you now. So as we go into the conversation again, we've been talking about so many different things. Just in case you only tune in now, you don't miss small bits no more. Small. And what you don't miss now, we talk about the fact say heartbreak not only they come out from spouses, they come out from just boyfriend and girlfriend. You can also get your heart broken by somebody where they work with in the office. When I just say co-worker, you paddy, you papa, you mama, your sister, your brother, anybody can actually break your heart. As long as you genuinely don't build a trust and a bond with them, you don't let them into your circle and into your life, and then do something for break that trust, the way they bring you to a place of insecurity. You could definitely feel heartbroken about whatsoever they go on doing. Then also, we'll be to talk about the different viewpoints them, how man they see a breakup. And of course, there's a general point of view, even though in very rare cases you go meet up man that way far more emotional than other man that will go take certain things like how woman go take her. And some situation in which way woman they go more logical than romantic or emotional as they can usually be, and then will take things more like how the man will take her. So mostly man they can see a breakup as a failure. In like just one project tomorrow they be start where no work fine. We can make them feel disappointed and bad about themselves and all of that. We can make most of them can try to like do something about them because we just not like for fail. Whilst woman there now can really see like some kind of a loss. They take it like somebody died, basically. You will see them going through a whole grieving process. You go see woman, they take them 2 weeks, they cry. Like I'm in love, sister now. Cried a lot. They will cry, they will talk about it with their friends. If you get people that will like the kind that will be sabi, they will literally have movies that will cause them to cry. They'll have songs. They know that if they play this song, they will cry. They will still play the song. And they will bring food. They will be crying, eating, laughing, all of those kind of things. They're in their grieving process. And it's just like that for most women because they're emotional beings. They put everything in their lives to a certain degree from an emotional perspective. If they don't put you in your life, trust me, they're very, very serious about that. And also, we lastly they talk about please remind me.
I guess we were talking about some of the unhealthy.
The unhealthy things that people do in relationships. Like you were talking about how people would literally try to like do certain things that are wrong and then blame you like it is your like it is your fault. They try like toxic people. They don't even know that they're toxic mostly. And talking about that, it brings me to an understanding that I had. Do you know that it's only people that have been hurt that usually hurt other people? I came to realize that most people that naturally cause pain for people have gone undergo pain themselves, whether it be from a bad childhood, whether it be from an abusive father, an abusive mother, or the absence of their parents, or the fact that they went through a childcare system that really didn't pay attention to them. So their coping mechanism throughout most of those things was just bullying others as well. And then they go into a relationship, no trying to fix it, no trying to think about how to handle that bad side. And they just want to go unite themselves with somebody else. And that makes the other people now victims.
Yeah. Well, I think it's both. I believe everybody goes through hurt. But yeah, I think it is often those who do cause more hurt as a knock-on effect are, yes, probably people who haven't had good examples or good mentors to help them work through how to process emotions, how to do that. So I think yes, but also people have a choice, so people, there might be orphans or people who didn't have mentors that actually, but they've made a choice, or they've seen that actually, despite me being hurt, I'm not going to do that back to somebody. So there are, I'd say everybody goes through
their
a
own
hurt.
phase.
But yeah, how we then decide to treat others, it does have so many factors. And I've had a lot of really great mentors throughout my whole life who have really advised me, and some people don't have that, and some of these strong emotions, or even like you said, we don't talk about how if you don't get papa, like we don't often think about how our childhood affects our adulthood. So I think it is often those people that haven't made some of those connections that will then go on. And the reality is there are also just wicked people. I really, there are some people in this world that just seem to be on,
they're on their own drug.
Yes.
I know, right?
And no matter what kind of counseling they get, no matter how many good people in their life, might still choose to want to hurt. Some people can get a good feeling out of that power of hurting other people.
They just like to dominate people.
Yeah. And if you come across one of them, run for your life.
That is literal. Now fact one.
Yes.
Hey God. Because this is the thing, when they do I know. They do it like they're doing from a place of love. They make you feel like you are the one that is the problem. They put you in a place where if anybody asks you, you feel like you're not doing enough, while they are the ones taking advantage of you. Unfortunately, a lot of people, they learn the lesson quick. So by the time they come out, it is well.
You've been beaten.
Yeah, you've been taken for a guide. But everybody goes through their process and everybody learns in their own way. So if you're going through something like that and you're listening to us now, this is your opportunity to run away before you find out. Because mostly it doesn't end well. And especially for you when you they go through the toxicity and toxic. They go through them. People just left us so man can't cham that word. The most important thing, as she was saying in the earlier part of the program, is know how to love yourself. Be able to enjoy your own company, value yourself. When you're able to do that, you're able to say, what's in this post here? So what tell me say they give me, I will give myself. So if you know I'm doing fine, I can leave the person because I value myself enough to do this for myself. But in a situation in which you are emotionally dependent, you are financially dependent, it make you work for you fine. So please try your best. Do your best. Reach out to other people them we don't go through what they go through, or people that we don't pass that stage, they ask them questions. Not just sit down no more, they listen to the person and they go through the whole cycle. No, you will be there for too long. Talk to other people, seek out guidance and counseling and help. Yeah? So we want for to another part. Just in case you not be know the phone lines that open, you can call on the number 088-971-971 at the call back 088-971-971 for making your own contribution. But we go to the other part of the conversation in which we want to talk about the character traits them. The character traits the way they inside breakup. Like mostly we go find out say the way we man then they relate to certain things them inside breakup. Also woman and the do. Like for example, emotional expression. You know, say of course we don't anything you say emotion. What you kind of mind first? Every time I say emotional, woman, I think, but because that is that is the icon. They are the icons when it comes to emotion. So when it comes to emotional expressions, I don't know. What do you see? How do you see women express themselves during a heartbreak while they're going through that?
Yes, I guess we already talked a bit about how maybe women feel a little bit more comfortable to say express their emotion through tears or like talking.
Tears.
Crying and talking it
Oh my
through.
God.
And I do want to change the narrative about emotions. I think we can view what we class as emotional people or women or men as a negative thing. And I do believe it can sometimes be negative, but I believe emotional people can really channel that emotion in a really like healthy way. So, I have no shame in saying I am a very emotional person, but that emotion, I really feel things deep, and so, but that I believe makes me so good at my job.
Okay.
Because when I feel somebody else's pain, I can feel that pain or the suffering that somebody might be going through, and that gives me a very, very strong drive to then think, how can I help? What can I do to make that person's life, hopefully better? The way that maybe if I was going through that pain, I would want somebody to do that. So that's how I use my my emotions and my sensitivity in a
healthy way,
in a really healthy, positive way. So yes, yes, I can cry quick, but that means I also get over things quick. For me personally. But I do believe there are unhealthy ways that I have seen people, and again, probably earlier in my early 20s, teenage life, used emotions in a negative way. And what I will never encourage is to start emotionally manipulating the other person. So I have had both men and women, have made threats of like, if you leave me, I'll kill myself, or if you leave me, I'll do something bad to myself, or you're the only, and starting to put like this emotional manipulation on the other person is really unhealthy. And I do also want to encourage that if you've ever had somebody do that to you, or if somebody does it to you very soon, like, you are not responsible for that person's happiness. Like, that person is responsible for their happiness. And from personal experience, I actually did have a boyfriend actually say that to me once, that, if we broke up, he would kill himself. And can you just imagine, like, how much, like, pressure that puts on somebody? It's a really unfair position to put somebody. And in the end, I just said, look, I can't control what you do. If you choose to do that, that's on you, not me. I'm not asking you to do that. And he didn't, and so it, again...
Were you guys, like, in the same house at that time?
No, not in the same house.
Oh, okay.
No. So don't let people have that kind of control over you, because again, why would you want to be with somebody that, if you don't feel like that relationship is right for you, it's okay to walk away. And unfortunately, whatever that person chooses to do is not on, as long as you've acted right and treated that person right.
If it was me, I literally would have like found a knife. I say, yeah.
No.
Help yourself. Let me bring you. Who brought you here? You go now.
to be the person on the other side is really it can put people in a very, very hard position when you don't feel
especially when you genuinely care about them.
Yeah, and you're that. But what I found was if I had started like saying no, don't do that, he would have got the attention that he was wanting, and he probably would have
used it against you.
Yeah,
again.
kept doing things like that. But because I think he was very shocked by my response of, okay, if that's what you choose to do, but don't put that on me. There's more to this life than me. He was almost very shocked by my response, and and he didn't do anything silly.
Wow.
But I want to encourage people: if you are somebody who says that kind of thing, really, really think about it twice, because it's not a healthy way to deal with relationships, and I would encourage you to get some counseling, from some wise friends or a professional, because I think it demonstrates a very deep insecurity if that's the way that you respond to breakup.
And mostly, men are basically like the opposite of women, of course. You guys will like cry about it and talk all of those things. And oh my God, I like the way women do it anyway. I wouldn't hide it. I like the way they want, because so far with what I've been seeing, whatever they're doing is working. Guys, we've been getting it wrong. But we're going to talk about it, yeah? So, like, guys mostly will not express their emotions in situations like this. Like, they would not feel safe to express them because they don't want to feel, especially if they were the ones that were dumped. If they were not the one doing the dumping, they would be ashamed to talk about it. They'll be ashamed to like express, because hello?
Lawrence, good morning.
Hey, me own brother.
Yeah, Lawrence, good morning.
How the money no?
Fine, Bobody, thank you.
Hey, well, don't let for talk then talk there. You and I they send money for we. But yeah, what you want to teach me today?
Yeah, now you have to work for. So now they pay me. So
what you want to teach me today? Students and they are they listen. The network. Oh my God. Hello? Ama?
Yes. Yeah, Lawrence, let's work, lobby. Yeah.
I they tell you, land that we love.
This country.
So what's your contribution for today?
Yeah, hello?
Hello?
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, my name Ahmed, Memphis Police. I call from Douazat.
Oh, Ahmed, good morning. How you do? Yeah, well, learn from me today. What's your contribution?
I don't learn a lot from this program.
Oh, glory to God.
Mostly concerning that disability side.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't learn a lot. Yeah, this program is a very important program. One for time to time.
I got in power with the try.
Yeah. But really, you might have this video. I would like for Lady Me Valentine.
You heard it?
Yeah,
I'm single, but I'm not ready to mingle.
I go like it.
You go like for maybe Valentine, eh?
Yes, I go like for Lady Me Valentine.
Alright, you know what you go do? You go get for take me number. Then they pay for dinner the waiting list, because as you say man they boku. So each man will want for dinner the waiting list in money na 500. So where the money reach 5,000, we go choose £1 now.
Yeah. Well, what's the number?
Well, I joke at the joke.
This one get kalu kalu.
I joke at the joke.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I joke at the joke.
Thank
But
you,
anytime
sir.
you want for say, I know you just fry office. Hello? I think we all lost that holiday. You see, if people want to be your Valentine, you're doing something in this place. Her beauty is taking over the studio. People are calling. This has never happened. I've never seen somebody call to take somebody out on Valentine. This is wonderful.
But I'm also very happy to hear that, you know, he really pulled out about the, you know, the disability side. You know, it's a really, really important thing, and something that people don't always think about.
Don't pay attention to that.
You know, we all hope that yes, you know, have a child that's healthy, that's okay. You know, but if you get married, you do sign up to, you know, for better, for worse. But people forget about the worst. You know? They're there for the better, and then as soon as something hard comes, people want to run away.
I know, right?
But I believe there can be so much beauty in working through those hard times. And
it helps build the relationship even.
Yeah.
So we're actually talking about the guy's perspective. And the guy there, as I was saying, mostly we don't express our emotions. We try our best to just brush it aside and not talk about it so we'll not look vulnerable. Oh man, you guys are blessed, man. You guys can just blur it out, cry about it in the public, and not feel embarrassed about it. That is like a superpower you guys have. It's a gift. And of course, we have the social support that you guys have.
Yeah. So do you think, and this is a question to listeners, you know, do we need to start changing the narrative that it's okay to show emotion for men?
That is the actual solution.
Yeah.
That's the actual solution, because guys, well, we have not been trained to come to the place where we'll say being vulnerable is a good thing. Yeah. Why? Because when you're small and let's say you do something or something goes wrong and you start crying, they're like, suck it up, be a man. Yeah. And all of that. We've been taught from our youngest age to suck up our emotions. And the people telling us, they themselves were taught the same thing. So it's like we've had generations of the wrong thing happening over and over again. So it's almost impossible to meet men that are okay with being vulnerable. Yes, and when you meet them, they're trying. They don't even know how to do it. Yeah. So men, we really need support. That's why I was actually looking at hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, you never know the call from Good Morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, Amara, what's up? Hello? Amara, this mountain we don't claim. I'm not sure the network they are not.
No. Not the mountain there. What's the mountain found?
How are you there, so?
Now the same time was just admin that day.
So you know, they are for teach me. We'll learn from you. You get 3 minutes. What's up? What you do? What you want to teach me today?
I still
hello.
To break up, right?
Sorry.
Yeah. Yes. I think we talk about how to manage breakup, right?
Yes, sir.
First of all, it depending. So whether I talk to or whether I don't face breakup, because perhaps you own breakup by the manager with me own possibility in difference. Was me asking because he says a man best servant than the man himself. I'd rather talk about me himself than I talk about you how they handle you.
Okay.
No, me, God is so good. I not ever get break up. I dey pray God I'm not get am because
They are
yes,
continue for
the
prayer.
sign of the show. Yeah.
He said he signed in the show.
Yes, you dey go into relationship, you dey see some kind of excuse, excuse and begin dey carry inside, and as long as you need excuse, don't begin dey carry. The designer for sit down. You know, land get heartbreak, land get break. Then I decide for sit down and last year wetin happen. I no go dey force myself at the end of the day say I go get heartbreak. So I dey sit down. But if I continue for force, yeah, at the end of the day, what I'm expect to go through, then the more dangerous than we expect until it happen.
Okay. All
So
right.
like I say, I'm not going to let it happen. If it happens, I have a handler. One, just to give exercise. And the exercise patient, come with time where the mind will take me say, go do this, go do that. Because when it first you go kind of mind, you want to do the person bad.
Okay.
I mean, I for go do I want to go to that party for go kill. Maybe for hold on, even for exercise patients. I think because if it's not the way last forever. You must done. I feel it must go. But like failing for exercise.
Well. Amara, you network so bad that most of what they say now, imagine na they imagine am. The best way you can do that for send comments na the YouTube page so that we'll be able to respond to you. Anyway, so as to be they say we want for
she's still there.
Hello? Jesus. Anyway, as to be they say changing narrative now they talk about I really believe say that it could be a good thing. Because like if you check, mostly ladies have a far longer lifespan. And guys are just dying like like flies. They might die too early. Even a married or men that are married, you find them dying very early, leaving the wives behind. And I really believe that based on the fact say women then they process emotion and able for deal with information far better than we. We go worry about try for rationalize logicalize and even it not make sense, it stress the hell out of we. Whereas you guys learn from the earliest of ages that certain things that you can't handle, you just cry after you don't talk what you're able to talk at that moment and you forget about it. We want to solve it. Like I feel like we have not been able to come to the place where we have accepted the psychological part of life. We have not accepted that there is a psychological and an emotional side of life that we must also master. Not just the buffness and the toughness that we keep doing and all the time. But anyway, I'm planning on learning a lot from you guys. Being honest, I don't want to die early. I want to go to heaven, but not in a rush, please. Anyway, so like something else I was talking about, like the character traits. One thing that and the second character traits I believe that women really dominate guys in is their social security. Like when I say social security, I'm talking about the fact that they are open to support from friends, from people outside, not just talking about like people can come in and bring in their own take on what they're going through and how to handle it and all of that. Guys will not seek out help. Guys, like talking about it is one thing. Listening to other people that have gone through it is another thing.
Yeah.
And guys will be more embarrassed.
Do we have a caller?
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah. Good morning. You name outside the call from? Okay. Something is happening to Sir Ellen's network today.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hello, Lawrence.
Hello. Your name outside the call from, sir? Oh, this is wonderful.
Hello, good morning.
I believe so. Good morning. Okay. Uh, well, I believe we have a network issue today. But anyway, as we were saying, like ladies are free to like actually accept help from people. They can consciously go to a mom and say, "Mom, this is what I'm going through in my relationship. What can I do? Help me! I've been crying and stuff." Like guys, like as much as we would want to act it out, we always are failing in this situation. We don't ask for help. Like it's very difficult to meet women that don't ask for help compared to guys. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that's probably a good, yeah, it's a pretty correct generalization. Of course, with any of these things we've talked about today, you know, there'll be people with all sorts of, yes.
Hello? Hello? Oh, we have a wonderful network here today. The land that no. Hello? Hello? Okay, so yes, you were saying.
You're going to have to remind me what I was saying.
You were talking about the generalization that I did.
Yeah, so I think it is a pretty probably accurate generalization. And yeah, I think my encouragement is, you know, how we've already talked about how to be humans, we're not designed or created to be alone. You know, we need each other. And when we don't have people, when we feel isolated, that's when we start having issues with our mental health. Or that's when we might start behaving in ways that aren't maybe healthy.
Yeah.
Or that's when you might turn toxic because you don't know how to process some of these things. And so you know, and even from male friends that I have, you know, who have, you know, that I've talked to before about these kind of things, like, just try it, you know? Like we're all human, and for the most part, we all want to feel safe, we all want to feel loved, we all want to feel secure. And so you'll be so shocked if you start, be the person to start causing change. Start the conversation. Just say, look, man, I'm going through this. I feel really like, you know, nervous. I feel a bit vulnerable, but I just have to get this off my mind before, you know, it really like eats me up. And then I would say probably 98% of the time, your buddy will say, "Oh my goodness, I've gone through that before." And there'll be such a sense of like relief for both of you. To actually, just admit that life is hard. Relationships can be hard.
And maybe the both of you might even be going through the same thing together, and you
didn't even know it. So yeah, be that person. Let's start creating.
Come on, Bia.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, Lauren.
Yeah, so boss Amara, what's up?
Amara again. I feel that network not allow me.
I did tell you the network looked there against you.
But I think it's okay, small, not super.
Better.
Done better.
Yes. Madam, thank you very much for your explanation. We have really learned from you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I guess.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, it's a real shame. We're having a lot of issues with the network today.
I'm telling you. Anyway, we thank God that at least people can call.
Yeah. Or try.
Yeah,
they don't try, but there's some barriers.
Yeah.
Oh.
Amara?
Okay, one last time. Hello?
Anyway.
Yeah. So as we were saying,
Mhm.
let's start changing that narrative of like, especially for men. And you hear, from a woman, I don't see it as a weakness. And I know there's some cultural, aspects of that. And, it's not healthy for anybody to go around crying all day. Woman, man, child, adult, that's also not a healthy way. But I do believe, we've been given tears for a reason. There's a reason that our body does that.
Yeah. It's to release stress.
Yeah. And there will be some medical, scientific, right now I can't quite remember, but there are, like, it does actually release, like, chemicals, that actually help the body to regulate itself.
Good morning. Your name outside the call from?
Joseph Ndakame from Abunka.
Oh, wow. Joseph. Yeah, what do you get for we today?
Come again, sir?
I say yes. Thank you for calling. What you able learn from me today? Saying that you get for can't talk.
Well, like I say, across we talk issue. That's what I did program every day in Q2. Everybody for that.
Thank you.
But you went to learn to you are all the biggest all that's what we have so much. One the Christian victim. Let's see. I mean, for 2 weeks, every for cope up. But you have for cope up, to me, I call it a victim because Abba was allowed to be victim. But to me, I'll be a victim because I'm for cope up. But the way she gets like it is like which those kind of still me. So one, in order for all the good things, because if you think about all the good things they happen, you go for cope. But all the good things that really happen, is for forget about them. But again, all the things that we do together, these are good things and you for forget about them. As we move for it, you will cope up. But that's like really man, you really cope up more parts man, because the guys are also in the salary. Because women now, it's like we want me to top us, let's say look at that you need to pause his head. They say, hey, man, don't get me. Man, let's get a new man. But we man now, we can go for to keep a secret. It's next step and really bad stuff. It's a bit appealing. But let's man, they live yeah, at all. Hey, for a Christmas, for hey, man, don't let me. But we man, yeah, like that, I don't be here for us, let's go back to the cook. So, really, I learned from it, okay, I learned back more to cooking from the Iran. 3 years exactly. So,
oh, sorry, we don't lost brother Joseph. Anyway, thank you so much. It say you learn a lot from what we say, even if it's count for some person to really learn from you. We don't almost get to the close of the program. If we get like a few more minutes, so we just want to wrap up on certain things. Then, so few things that were other characteristics that we woman and man can face. Now, like for example, rumination. What's that rumination? That process where you think about what's in the relationship and be like, who's the problem? Come on, what's lead to all and the woman there? Oh my God, with that relationship they well. And go begin to think, how me manage, what thing I do, what thing lead to this and all of that. Mostly the guys will not even do that. Women like you guys will do it. It will help you to cry the more and have a wonderful crying session. Whereas the guys, mostly we just distract ourselves. Like if you check, we'll just distract ourselves and just find something else to do. And of course, we have the fourth one when I rebound relationships. Like, of course, we know the guys are the ones that are winning that one. We're the ones. Like, guys, we as I said, we go distract. We want to distract ourselves. We want to distract ourselves from what they go to. So the next fine baby, we come.
Yes.
Who they go? Whereas women, well, some women can do it.
Yeah.
But mostly women will try to find a way to heal and get themselves together first before attempting something else. But we guys, then God help us. So God help us. Then of course we get self-reflection. This one also mostly na I was saying na woman them more back the door. Like coming to the place where you will sit down and think about you what exactly na be your own role. What you do will cause the breakup. And at least for come to the place where you go own up to your own side, say, okay, now this part now may not been do properly. Then unfortunately, man, they we not kill do than they mostly few man then go do but most guys will mostly either do the blame game thingy, like it was her fault, or unfortunately, or the one that we get small shame. They will say, hey, when the tea will be they go through the situation, now I make and all of that. When most of the time it's really not the situation. You just have to own up to your own mistakes.
Yes.
And unfortunately, it's an ego thing and a pride thing that most guys go through. And some people don't go and say, now we nature, I'm sorry, that not to nature for the accept. If the nature, more begin the fair way for solve and want.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, will hurt a lot of people. You will lose a lot of people. Your relationships will not prosper as much as they should because people they not even want for the tell you to because you cannot accept and relate with facts. You know the kind of person we go they try for withdraw yourself from people that would tell you to and will help you for goal in life. Then also we have this also now woman and back to survive. Coping strategies. Women they mostly their own coping strategies are very healthy. Like women will like try to go to the gym or pay more attention to their work or their career or start a new hobby or crazy things like that. You guys have a lot of stuff that you usually do. Not all, eh?
No. Again, like you said, I think some women can really, really wallow in pity for
for quite a while, right?
a long time, which so yeah, not all. I think again, it's just both. Both males, females. You'll have some that do that, others that will really for months and months and months. Like you remember when you said for 7 months.
I'm telling you, like me,
chase that woman.
I don't know what to be give me.
So I think both genders can do that. But yeah, I think what we want to encourage is encourage both genders to find healthy ways.
Yeah, find healthy
to cope with with breakup. And I think what you just mentioned, both genders could use the advice. Yes,
yeah.
Do something that's good for you. Find a new hobby. Find exercise is brilliant for distracting your mind and processing. Hang out with people who care for you and love you, and so that you get that sense of like that you still belong and that people still care about you. Because if you stay on your own too much after any kind of breakup or heartache, then you start to listen to your own mind, which is often very negative. So you need people to be around people who still give you and remind you that you are loved, cared about, and that there's more to life than this one person who you don't want to be with, or maybe they don't want to be with you. And I think my other top tip, kind of concluding what we've talked about, is start finding out how you can love yourself and be confident in yourself, and how to love being alone first. And then I believe you will be surprised about the kind of people you then attract, So the energy, the way we respond to things will attract certain people. Yeah. So if you're acting very insecure, that you need lots of attention, that you want attention, you'll probably attract people who like power, right? Because they'll see that vulnerability and be like, I can be powerful over this person. Whereas if you present to be very confident, you love yourself, you will be putting out, your countenance will be putting out a message to attract better people into your life than people who want to take advantage of you. And it's not always like that. Sometimes, like you said, you got lucky and found somebody that loves you in a way that you didn't think was even possible. But yeah, try to try to start loving you first, and then it makes it so much easier for somebody else to love you after. What's your top tips?
My top tips will be, firstly, to my gender. Guys, please, let's start talking.
Yes.
It's actually a good thing when you talk. They usually say a problem spoken out is a problem half solved.
Yes.
It's almost impossible for you to grow out of something that you don't say anything about or do anything about. And mostly every time we say, I know how to do this, or I will handle it myself, you mostly don't do anything if you really are honest with yourself. You mostly just try to manage going through the process rather than finding a way out of that process. And that's why mostly you would find guys that stay in that that thing, because there's actually a scientific discovery that most guys that go that are broken up with, they stay in love with the person even though they move on. They don't like really end things within themselves.
Yeah.
They just like find a way to cope and continue to move on. And that's so unhealthy. Whilst women now, you guys like always work towards having closure. And I don't know why guys, well, it's actually true. Guys actually don't pay much attention to things like that. Which is why talking is so important. Talk about it. If you can cry, cry. If you're ashamed of crying in the public, go into a room, cry enough. It's not about, I cry, you. I cry. I remember the day that thing happened to me. Like, I cried a lot.
Yeah.
And it didn't help by the next day because I had to cry again. But it took some time and I got used to it, and the crying had to cease, and I actually talked about it.
Yeah.
And it helped me so much because other people that went through it were able to tell me certain things. And also, this other thing, there's something else that guys do that I believe we should stop. And everybody else does it, in fact. This rebound relationship thing, it doesn't work. You just end up using people, hurting yourself, and going into commitments that you actually can't keep. And all of that, it's just unnecessary. And also ensure that you don't allow yourself to create a cycle of unhealthy habits.
Yeah.
Like some guys will go into alcohol. Some people will go into drugs. Some people will just start having unsafe sex with so many different partners that it doesn't make sense. At the end of the day, when you love yourself, you know that these are things that you shouldn't do because these things bear very, very severe consequences that you can never really want for yourself. So, with all of that said, oh my God, we almost reached the end of the program. I think I would just let you say your last, your last take or whatever you want to leave people with, and then.
Well, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure. I think it's a really important topic. Let's keep talking about it. And, as we are in the month of February, where lots of people do think about their relationships with Valentine's Day. But, yeah, let's keep our expectations realistic for all of us. Communicate. Communication is key. And let's also not forget that February is also my birthday, not just Valentine's.
We will not forget it. We definitely will not forget that. So thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you for sharing so much with us. We're definitely learning, and we're going to keep putting these things to practice.
Absolutely.
Say we meet back tomorrow. My name has been Lawrence Chukwuemeka Head and Miss
Laura Boothby.
And we say thank you and goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Yes, he's round the left foot, under his right foot.